We've been saying that future wars will be fought in space. It will be nothing like Star Wars, no dogfights, no ray guns. Space warfare will be about satellites and data. Today, every country is becoming more and more wary of protecting its interests in space, rather. The United States, Russia and China already have their space force. Last year, India announced that it has the capability to shoot down satellites from Earth. India has also set up a defense space research agency. It's been given the task of creating space warfare weapon systems and technologies. And now another country wants to join this club. Our next report tells you all about it. Japan is changing. And here's a big example. The pacifist country has announced a space defense force. Japan's Prime Minister said that the Space Force will protect Japan's interstellar interests. It will also defend the country against cyber threats. Shinzo Abe has sanctioned 50.6 billion yen for this unit. It will be called the Space Domain Mission. The unit will be stationed at Fuchu, and it will work closely with the United States. This announcement has surprised many. Japan's constitution forbids the use of force as a means to settle international disputes. It also forbids Japan from maintaining an army, a navy, or an air force. Japan prides in being pacifist. So why is it building a space force? Because if Prime Minister Abe had his way, Japan would shun pacifism. Japan is at the front line of East Asia security. On the one hand, China is trying to alter the status quo of the region. On the other, there's North Korea with its nuclear ambitions and fears that China and Russia are interfering with satellites. Let's also remind you that Japan was not always pacifist. In fact, just the opposite. The Japanese state once revolved around its military. As some historians put it, Japan literally fought with everyone. In 1904, it went to war against Russia. It annexed the Korean Peninsula 6 years later. In 1937, Japanese troops massacred China in what is now called the Rape of Nanking. In 1941, Japan triggered the United States' entry into the Second World War by killing over 2,000 Americans in the Pearl Harbor attack. But all of this was suddenly halted in 1945 when the United States dropped 2 atom bombs in Japan. 200,000 people were killed in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. 1 week after this, Emperor Hirohito changed the course of his country. Japan surrendered to the Allied forces. The country adopted a new constitution, one that was written by the United States. Its preamble resolves to never visit the horrors of the war. But history was made again when Shinzo Abe became the country's prime minister for a second time in 2012. He pushed to amend Japan's laws to allow the country's standard defense forces to participate in collective self-defense. In 2018, the country released its 10-year defense plan with $240 billion allocated to the defense forces. It's been decades since the Second World War. The United States today wants a stronger Japan, and Shinzo Abe is not shy of building one. Bureau Report, WION World is One.